So, that's what I have. Alright, so basically we are Winthrop graduates, basically, and we have decided to go into, to be entrepreneurs, right? And so, we decided that we just come out of college and we realized that these, coolers are pretty popular in college. You know, like people go to Carolina Cup and stuff, and they bring coolers with them and they paint them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna sell painted coolers, right?
Right.
All right. So to start the business, it's gonna cost us $500, right? So $500 is gonna cover, you know, your paint, your supplies, the time, material, all that kind of stuff, right? That's gonna be your startup costs. And then it's going to cost $50 per cooler because we're going to buy the cooler and then make it. So it's going to cost, that's going to account into like time and things like that.
So when the $500 be your fixed cost?
Good. Yeah, good. So our fixed cost is going to be our $500. And then what would the $50 be?
Your own marginal cost.
Marginal, good.
And that would be the one that you pair X with.
Good. Because why? Why do you pair X with this one?
Because it increases per month.
So what is it doing?
Payment.
It's changing?
Yeah.
Right?
Constantly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be in a constant
Because
change.
you have $50 per cooler, so each time you add a cooler to it, the price changes.
Good, good. So this, what, if I asked you to come up with the cost function, what would you do with these two variables?
It would be F parentheses X parentheses equals 500 plus 50X.
So 500 plus 50X, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then C of X,
Right.
right? Because this is your cost function. So if I said, how much is it going to cost us to make 3 coolers? What would you do?
C of 3.
C of 3.
And then you'll have 50. I meant 500 plus 50 times 3, which would give you 500 plus 150, which will give you 650.
650. So it's going to cost us $650 to make
3 coolers.
3 coolers, right?
Right.
Okay, so you understand that, right? So when we go to put these on the market, we decide to sell our coolers at $75 a piece, right? So if I asked you to find a revenue function for that, what would you do?
Wouldn't it be, because you're just selling for $75 per cooler, so it would be R of X equals 75X.
Good, 75X, perfect. So, so we have our cost function, right, which was 500 plus 50X, which you said, right? Okay. So now we want to figure out at what point are we going to be selling just enough to make more than we're spending on the cost. So do you know what that's called?
Your break even.
Your break-even point, good. So on a graph, what kind of graphs would these be?
But the revenue function would be a linear.
Linear, right? Because it's x to the first power. Okay, and then what kind of graph would this be?
That would be linear as well.
Good.
So it would be where they touch is the
Good. So like say this would be our revenue, or this would be our cost, and then this would be our revenue. We're going to find the point at which they intersect, right?
Right.
Because at this point, they're going to, you're going to be making just as much as you are spending on the cost. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So to find that, what do?
We set them equal to each other and solve for X.
Good. Do you know why we set them equal to each other?
Because you're looking for the point where they're equal.
Good. All right, and then solve for x, what you said, right?
Right.
Okay, so tell me what we do now.
I would subtract 50X from both sides.
Okay.
And then you're left with 25X equals 500, and then you divide by 25. And I want to say you get 9. I want to say you get
9, so 25 times 4 is 100, right?
Alright.
And then we have 5 hundreds, so We have 4, 8, then 1.
12,
And then
16, and then 20. So x equals 20.
good. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is this point again?
Your break-even point.
So what does X stand for here?
So when you have when you sell 20 coolers, that's when your revenue and your cost is the same.
Perfect. Perfect. All right, so now we want to figure out, when are we going to make money? When are we going to make a profit off of this?
When
So-
x equals more than 20.
So are we going to be making a profit when X equals 20?
No, so when x is greater than 20.
Okay. So we want to find an exact point. To what point are we going to start making money off of these coolers? What would we do?
Your profit function, isn't it revenue minus your cost?
Good. Profit is always going to be your revenue minus your cost function. All right, and we said the revenue function was
500 plus 50x. No, that's 75x.
Okay.
And your cost is 500 minus 50x.
minus 50x or plus 50x?
Plus 50x.
Good. All right, and then we're going to solve for what?
P of x.
Okay. So what do we do now?
You would FOIL.
FOIL
You would distribute the 75x to what's in parentheses.
So is that what it's telling us to do? Distribute the 75, or are we distributing something else?
I'm not sure. Are you distributing in the negative?
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, you're distributing the negative form. So you would have 75x minus 500 minus 50x.
Okay. So now what do we do?
But we said that equal to 0.
Well, what can we do before we do that?
We can subtract 50x from 75x. And
Okay.
left with 25x minus 500.
Okay. We said it equal to, what'd you say?
0.
0. Okay.
And then you solve for x, so you would add 500 to both sides.
Okay.
And then you're left with 20.
20?
Yeah.
So this is telling us that when we sell 20 coolers, we're going to be making a profit.
Right.
Make sense? Okay. So we're going to do one more. So basically, your cooler company, you realize that coolers are only popular in college, right?
Right.
Because nobody really goes and uses coolers other than going to the beach, right? When they're older. So you want to go into making TVs, okay?
Yeah.
So let's read this over, and I want you to work this out for me. Tell me how I do this.
To start your business, it costs you 1,000 plus 250 per TV made. What is your fixed cost? What is your marginal cost? And what is the cost function? Okay, your fixed cost would be the $1,000.
Okay.
So if we were making the cost function, it would be C of x equals 1,000.
So what was the marginal again?
Your marginal cost was the 250x.
Okay.
So your cost function would be 1,000 plus 250x.
Okay.
And then you decide to charge $450 per television. What is your revenue function? So it'd be R of x equals 450x.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask you to find the break-even point.
Okay, for your break-even point, you would set C of x equal to R of x.
Okay, so that would be 1,000 plus 250x equals 450x, right? That's what you just told me to do?
Right.
Okay, and now what?
It was solve for x.
Okay.
So I would subtract 250 from both sides.
Okay.
And then you're left with 1,000 equals 200x. And then x equals 50.
50?
500. Wait, hold on. Yeah, 500.
I think you're right with the 50, right?
Yeah.
So 5 times 2 is 10, right?
Add a 0, yeah.
And then add,
It's 50.
make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Actually, I think it's 5. So,
Yeah, it's 5.
it is 5? So, if we did 50, it would be 10. And
No,
then
because if you did,
if we did 50, then we would add 3 zeros, right? 1, 2, 3. So that would be 10,000.
yeah.
So if we did just 5, then we do 5 times 2 is 10, and then just add these 2 zeros, right? And that would be, it would just be 5, right? Okay.
It's way off. Only
Oh,
500.
that's okay. That's okay. You'll have a calculator on the test, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you'll be good. So x equals 5. Alright, and tell me what this is showing me.
We just did a break-even point, right?
Okay. And what does that tell us?
It's telling me when you sell 5 televisions, that's when your cost function equals your revenue function, so you're making just as much as you're earning.
Good. Alright, and now I'm going to ask you to find at what point we're going to make a profit. So what do we do then?
I think the profit, if I'm not mistaken, the profit function, I think you did that like wrong.
Okay.
Oh no, that was right. Why do I keep thinking about that other one? Well, P of X is when R of X subtract C of X. So if your R of X is 450 X minus 1,000 plus 250 X. And then you can go ahead and subtract 250. Well, you distribute a negative 1, so you'll have 450x minus 1,000 minus 250x. And then you can go ahead and subtract 250 from 450. And you're left with 200x minus 1,000. And then
What does this equal again?
to 0.
You ever said it equal to 0?
Yeah. And then
So we're going to do what?
add 1,000 to both sides. So you have 1,000 equals 200x and x equals 5. So you're making a profit when you sell 5 televisions.
Perfect. Good job.